To solve this data sufficiency question, we'll go ahead and consider each statement separately first and then together if needed. Before diving into the statements, let's take a look at what the question is asking. If A, B, and C are integers, is A times B times C odd? Now, before diving into the questions, we're asked whether a product is odd. So we want to recall some of our even and odd properties. For a product to be odd, we can't have any of the numbers be even, because an even number times anything is going to result in an even number. So that means all of these, if the product is supposed to be odd, A, B, and C all need to be odd for the whole product to be odd, because otherwise if any of them is even, the product is going to be even. So let's go ahead and let's now dive into statement 1. Statement 1 tells us that A times B is odd. So if A times B is odd, then we definitely know that A is odd and B is odd, because remember, if either of them is even, the result is even. So if the product is odd, that means both of them are odd. So A is odd and B is odd. But we still don't know what's happening for C. C could be either. And if C happens to be even, then ABC is even. If C is odd, then ABC is odd. So we can't actually determine whether our product A times B times C would be odd. It's dependent on what C is in this case. So here we actually, statement 1 alone is not sufficient since we can't answer the actual question. So we can rule out answer choice A and D. And let's go ahead and let's move on to statement 2. I'm just scrolling down a little bit so we have some space. Here we're told in statement 2, B times C is odd. So similar logic to statement 1. That means that B is odd. It also means that C is odd. But again, kind of similar to what we had with statement 1, we don't know what A is doing. So A is either. And again, we don't know what A is. So if A is even, the product is even. If A is odd, then the product is odd. So it's really dependent here. So statement 2 alone is not sufficient. And we can actually rule out answer choice B. So we're still left with C or E for our answer choices. And that's where we need to consider both statements together. So off to the side over here, if we have statement 1 and statement 2, we're considering them together. Now, from statement 1, we know that A is odd. From statement 1, we also know B is odd. From statement 2, we have B is odd, so that matches up, which is good. We also have that C is odd. And in this case, all of them are odd, which is what we needed for the product to be odd. So the answer to the question is A times B times C odd? Yes. And we can definitively answer that because we know all of the factors are odd. So the product should be odd. So that statements together are actually sufficient. And if we take a look at our answer choices, that would account for answer choice C. Both statements together are sufficient, but neither statement alone is sufficient. And we can eliminate answer choice E. So the final answer is answer choice C.